one of the things I want to know about, and continuing with the movie itself, is almost, I think one time you mentioned food, and food is a big thing at Comic-Con. I mean, I was expecting a cameo of this hot dog wrapped in a pretzel, because that's all you see for 4 days. I'm wondering, can you guys talk about your worst food experiences or your worst period to go through of just being hungry at Comic-Con?
I mean, for me, I feel like there were like days while we were shooting this movie that I just forgot to eat. I feel like there were times where suddenly it would be like 6 p.m. and I was like, wow, I haven't eaten all day, because you're so, I mean, we were dealing with so much and there was so much stress and so much work that, I mean, I didn't even think about it. But then you get what you can, and you do get some sort of like terrible overpriced like vendor hot dog pretzel, bad burger, something that's sold in the back of the convention center there. Yeah. Where there's 8,000 people jockeying for like 4 tables, you know?
It's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I remember when we were filming and we were soldering Tank's costume still in our hotel room. And I hadn't eaten all day and all of that. And finally we got some pizza. And the room was a disaster. A complete disaster. And the next day, like, the pizza was still there. And I had fallen asleep on the end of the bed. And I was like, I'm not going to get food today unless I eat that pizza. So I just did it. I just did it. And we were okay.
Off the floor?
No, it was in the box.
Oh, okay.
But it was like, it was because I knew that the convention, it would be so much worse.
And so much more expensive.
And so much more expensive.
Yeah.
Well, and maybe you might give me a diplomatic answer on this, so I would like to hear your thoughts on this. The biggest complaint I hear at Comic-Con, I've been going for about 10 years working there, is the security. And anytime I see a fight and I look, it's between security and somebody else. I want to know what your worst experience is with the security there, and kind of how you guys deal with that, and why we never see it in the movie mentioned at all.
Well, I mean, I think the only time we dealt with security was when the guy got stabbed in the eye. When we were making this film, was when the guy got the pencil in the eye during like the Resident Evil panel, and so they ejected everyone from all of the media from the room, you know, in Hall H. And the next panel, which was Kevin Smith's panel, was the one where James Darling was going to propose to his girlfriend. And so they wouldn't let our cameras back into the hall. And so the security's like, you can't come back in. And I'm literally calling everybody who is in charge of Comic-Con. I'm calling Faye Desmond. I'm calling David Glanz. I was like, somebody has to get down here. Like, they're not letting us in. And this next panel is, we got one shot at this. And if we're not in there, it's a problem. And so, yeah, they were militant in keeping us out of that room after that happened.
That's crazy, you know, with you and walking around in this outfit. I mean, how do they treat you? I mean, I've seen them just like come down. They don't care. It's like kids, they get off the street. I don't know where they get the security. But it's crazy.
They don't care at all. In fact, I remember at one point our crew was actually at the door and we didn't have all our badges and they couldn't get us in. And I actually went up to them and I was like, look, we need to get in. Like, I think it was Sunday when we wanted to walk around the floor, and it was, you know, time was ticking. We wanted to walk around the floor. And I did, like, I kind of made a scene that was like, I don't even remember what I said because I kind of blurred out at that point, but they still didn't let me in. Even though I tried to make a rousing commander speech, it didn't work.
But my favorite thing about security, though, that they have there, which you do see in the film, is the weapons checkpoint.
Yeah.
So no matter what weapon you bring in, like if you're bringing a gun like this, or if you're bringing a sword like Wonder Woman, you have to get every single weapon checked. And then they put a little tag on it so that they know that they checked the weapon. And it's amazing and ridiculous and understandable to a point. But when you see some guy walking around with like Thor's hammer that he has to go get checked by the security, it's fantastic.
Okay, one real quick yes or no answer. Yeah. Is Comic-Con the beginning and the end of the universe?
Oh, I think Comic-Con encapsulates everything that is right within the universe. I think Comic-Con is great.
Yeah, universe, multiverse, anything else that we can think of verse.
Yeah.
Definitely. Wormhole. It is the
It's a
wormhole,
wormhole.
black hole of everything.
That's right.
Of awesome.